Hello once again and welcome to another edition of My Weekly Bond. This week we're going to be looking at the 1954 Casino Royale, but before we jump into the review, I just feel like I need to give some context first. So before Fleming made the deal with Cubby Broccoli and Harry Saltzman Xeon Productions to make the official James Bond film series, dear old Ian was rather trigger-happy when it came to selling the rights to his books to make a little money, and CBS paid him $1,000 to adapt Casino Royale into an hour-long TV programme as part of their dramatic anthology series called Climax Mystery Theatre. Casino Royale aired on the 21st of October 1954 as a live broadcast, and a few years later CBS asked Fleming to write more episodes featuring the James Bond character. Fleming agreed and began writing outlines, but nothing ever came of that deal. MGM came to acquire the rights to the climax episode once they'd bought the rights to the 1960s spoof Casino Royale, and now we have the truly excellent Daniel Craig Casino Royale thanks to that. But how does this 1954 episode shape up? Well, let's find out, shall we?
Live from Television City in Hollywood.
I guess if you squint, it kind of looks a little bit like a gun barrel.
Tonight's production of Climax.
Good evening. This doesn't look dangerous, does it?
Well, actually, now that you mention it, yes. I mean, those edges look very sharp. You give someone a nasty blow to the head with something like that.
But it's killed plenty of men and women. It's made beggars of many and millionaires of a few. Mighty few.
Is this an infomercial about the dangers of gambling? This guy is as dull as dishwater. I don't know who this man is and whether or not he hosts this show every week, but wow, there's no personality or humour to anything he's saying. He's not getting me engrossed in any story. I don't understand the point of it, unless it was just a trope of anthology TV shows of the 1950s to have a host, if it was just like a token thing. Anyway, now we get into the actual story of the episode proper, with James Bond as the victim of an attempted shooting outside the Casino Royale. Well, special effects have sure come a long way in the past few decades.
You were so lucky to miss. Did they try to rob you, sir?
They tried to kill me.
Yep, this guy's our James Bond. If anything, this makes me so thankful that Bond's British heritage has been honoured in the films for as long as it has.
The casino is full of apologies, Mr. Bond. Such an act is beyond explanation. You had not begun to play, so it was not your winnings they were after.
Yeah, it wasn't my autograph either.
Ah, yes, the legendary 007 wit. Or at least half of it.
In this bizarre parallel universe, Jimmy Bond is a combined intelligence agent and is, if you haven't guessed yet, American, played by Barry Nelson. Inside the casino, Bond meets with his British contact, Clarence Leiter, played by Michael Pate.
I beg your pardon, but how much is that?
Well, that's about $1,500. That's 500 pounds, your British money.
Okay, so Bond is American, but Leiter is British. Can we just have these two guys switch roles? It makes me really uneasy to see Bond talking with an American accent.
You know, this game fascinates me, but I just can't get the hang of it.
Well, it's like any game. You win or you lose.
Well, yeah, but it's not exactly the only rule of the game, is it? For an agent assigned to a mission heavily involving gambling, Leiter doesn't really know anything about Baccarat, and so Bond explains the rules of the game to Leiter, while Leiter explains Bond's mission to him.
You can look now. He is ruthless, incorruptible, and everything he does is entirely legal. But he has a weak spot, and that's how you got into it.
Oh, now you see, the object of the game is to get as near 9 as possible.
This must be the worst covert conversation in history. They couldn't look more suspicious if they tried. Inside the hotel room is a safe, and the combination to the safe is 30... Well, I love hamburgers, don't you? Yes, I think hamburgers are the best kind of food. I really like hamburgers. I like mine with lots of cheese and ketchup. So the combination to the safe is 13, 23, 4. And yes, I really like fish as well. Yes, fish. We're just having a normal, ordinary conversation. Bond's mission is the usual Casino Royale mission that we've seen a couple of times before now, to defeat Le Chiffre at Baccarat and force his Soviet superiors to put him out to pasture, so to speak. Here, Bond meets with Mathis.
Mr. Bond, don't you remember me? Valerie. Valerie Mathis.
Bond is American, Leiter is British, and Mathis is a woman? What kind of strange parallel universe are we living in? Apparently Vesper and Mathis are squished into being one character here, and that character is Valerie Mathis, played by Linda Christian, who is, I guess, the first ever Bond girl. It's here that we get a glimpse of Le Chiffre, played by Peter Lorre, who is quite possibly the only appropriate piece of casting in this film. Bond takes Valerie up to his room so they can have a little lover's tiff.
You used to love me. I loved you too.
Well, you haven't written in a year.
I find it genuinely funny that James Bond sounds quite uppity about a former girlfriend not staying in touch with him. He's all like, well, you haven't written in a year. Like, to be fair, James, if you kept up with regular written correspondence with every woman you've slept with, you would probably not have enough time to save the world. Meanwhile, back in the lobby, Leiter is threatened by one of Le Chiffre's goons.
Mr. Leiter? That money you have.
You know, it'd probably look less suspicious if he just carried a gun without the black cloth over it. Anyway, Leiter foils the goon's plan, Bond meets Le Chiffre, and gets a phone call saying that if he wins the Baccarat game, Valerie will be killed! Oh, the tension! Oh, the drama! Oh, the stakes! Oh, I need a commercial break to take it all in.
That man's eating a fork. Now he's eating a plate. Now he's going to have 3 shredded wheat.
Now, don't tell stories.
No, 2's quite enough for me, thank you.
With 100% whole wheat nourishment packed into shredded wheat, who can eat more than 2?
And as Act 2 begins, so does the card game. So remember how cool and tense the card game was in Daniel Craig's Casino Royale? How even though it lasts for like half an hour or something, it never got dull or anything, and there was always a degree of suspense, how the shots, the music, the editing all made for a wonderful classic sequence that's up there with the top 007 scenes of the series? Now imagine the complete opposite of that, and you have the card game in this 1954 Casino Royale. The basic structure of it is the same as in the 2006 film and the book, of course. Bond is wiped out, and oh no, he's lost when, oh look, Deus Ex Machina money appears, and Bond continues on to win the game, much to Le Chiffre's displeasure, who dispatches a goon with a gadget.
My cane is in your bag, but it is a gun, not a cane.
And so the award for the most awkward line in the history of film and television ever goes to... But of course Bond gets away unharmed and begins to search the casino for Valerie with Leiter. Getting into a panic, Bond runs away to search his hotel room while Leiter continues to search the casino, barging past innocent patrons as he goes.
Miss Mathis!
Jeez, Leiter, there's plenty of space. There's no need to go pushing everyone around like that. Bond gets back to his hotel room where he gets a phone call from Leiter.
Hello.
Mine!
Hello, Jimmy. Jimmy, it's Leiter.
Leiter tells Bond that Le Chiffre is coming for his Baccarat winnings, so Bond hides them behind the number plate on his hotel room door. Dig that use of subtle lighting. Anyway, Bond is reunited with Valerie when Le Chiffre and his men burst into the room and interrogate him to find out where the check of his Baccarat winnings is. Oh, it's also tense. I think I need another commercial break.
No matter how strong a man is, a cough can still get the upper hand. But fortunately, there's Vicks Formula 44, the extra strength cough mixture. Effective as codeine, but not narcotic. Extra strength to help control a cough before it goes on a rampage.
Act 3 begins with Bond roughed up after he refuses to let slip where the money is when Le Chiffre decides to unleash his most despicable form of torture yet.
I think he's ready for the bathtub.
Why? What are you going to do? Bathe him to death? No, but as bashing his testicles with a bit of rope would have been a bit too hardcore for 1950s TV audiences, instead the villain uses a nutcracker on Bond's toes, which all gets a bit much for Valerie, who starts to crack. Get it?
I'll tell.
No. Where is it? She doesn't know.
I know something. When I came in, I saw he was holding a screwdriver.
Oh, Valerie, shut up!
Yes, Valerie, shut up! Anyway, the Shifra and his men search Bond's room while he and Valerie untie themselves. Bond then takes out the Shifra's guards and shoots the Shifra. Exhausted after his torture, Bond sits opposite the Shifra, and Valerie's apparent bloodlust emerges.
Are you going to kill him, Jimmy?
Yeah, that's it, Jimmy. Kill him. Kill him good, Jimmy. Kill him while I watch, Jimmy. Oh, kill him while I watch. Kill him, Jimmy. Kill him. But no, Jimmy doesn't kill him. In fact, he tells Valerie to call the police, and that's it. The end. Credits roll? Or at least on the version of the show released by MGM it does. There is a longer ending in which the Shifra grabs Valerie and threatens to kill her, but she breaks free and Bond shoots the Shifra, killing him. Well, okay, I mean, it's better than an abrupt fade to black, but still, it's not the most thrilling of endings. Oh yeah, and Mr. Personality reappears to close the program.
Incidentally, ladies and gentlemen, delegates from all over the world are now meeting in Chicago at the 42nd National Safety Congress. We salute the Congress and its accident prevention work. And I'd like to ask each one of you to help, too, by being careful.
Oh boy, yes, sure thing, mister. I'll be extra careful from now on. Wow, what a fabulous display of the influential power of television right before our eyes. Before I was just running in front of cars and walking down public streets blindfolded with a tank of gasoline and a lit match, but after those wise words, I'm gonna make it my duty to be careful. So, that's 1954's Casino Royale, and it really doesn't hold up very well at all. I mean, granted, I'm not exactly an expert on American TV of the 1950s beyond Alfred Hitchcock Presents and the odd episode of The Twilight Zone, but when you compare this to episodes from those series, it looks really bad. I know it's broadcast live and that it's incredibly difficult to have creative camera setups and editing and lighting when it all has to be done live, but if anything, this program serves as nothing more than an example of why live TV dramas are just generally not a good idea. I guess the performances also probably suffered from the live format, as the cast here, I mean, Linda Christian is okay as Valerie, and Michael Bate is okay as Leiter, but obviously the guy who can't escape the wrath of criticism and comparison is Barry Nelson. I mean, granted, to Nelson, this was probably just another TV gig, and there wasn't the respect for the James Bond character that there is now. It's just bizarre seeing this, really. I mean, Jimmy Bond? American? Nelson just doesn't even look like James Bond as written by Fleming. They should seriously have switched Nelson with the guy playing Leiter. It would have been much better like that. I have nothing against Nelson. It's just impossible to judge this performance when it's being compared to the likes of Connery, Dalton, Craig, and the rest of them. I will say that I don't feel like I get a sense of the character of Bond at all from this show. From this show, I know that he's an agent, and I know that he's good at cards, and I know that he doesn't like it when his girlfriends don't write to him in a year. But that's it. The show might be called Casino Royale, and the main character may be called Bond, but there is no Bond character here. The best thing about the whole program is, without a doubt, Peter Lorre. I really love this actor, and I think he has a great presence on screen, and I think he could have made a good villain in the official series. The live format is weird, and something I'm not entirely used to for TV dramas. I know that soaps seem to do a live episode every now and then to commemorate an anniversary or whatever, and I'll admit I usually watch them in the hope that something goes wrong, or someone forgets a line, or something like that happens, but here in this show, not much of that happens at all, really. There's the odd fluff-up, but it's mostly okay. Nothing that makes for a good laugh or anything seeps through. It would have been far more watchable if the cameraman had fallen over, or a bit of the set had detached and hit somebody, or something like that. Something that would have made it a bit more of a campy delight. But as it stands, it's just boring. It's scary to think that if CBS had taken up Fleming's outlines and made more of these, that James Bond would have been nothing more than a lead character in some 1950s TV drama, as opposed to a lead character of a multi-billion-dollar film franchise that's still going just as strong, if not stronger, 50 years on from its debut. If this was filmed traditionally and properly edited and that, then maybe it would have been watchable, but as it stands, it's merely a curio for die-hard Bond fans to view out of morbid curiosity. For anyone else, there's nothing much here, but as I say, if you're a Bond completist, check it out. Just don't say I didn't warn you.